Hello. It's been a while since I had an update. What's been happening with you? How are you doing? I realize the way I'm starting this makes it seem like something's wrong, but everything's fine. Weirdly, everything's fine. What's about to happen? So, following signs and synchronicities, um, so I talked about, I think it was last week or the week prior. I can't tell. Time just, it's all one thing now. When I did mushrooms, and I hung out with my dad and expressed love to my dad and received love from my dad, which is rare um, in my life. But it's rare because I've made it rare. You know, he's willing and able. It's I'm the holdup now. So when I was on the mushrooms and I was on my walk with my friend, uh, at one point the visual was very strong, and I was looking out into the field and I couldn't look at my friend because her face was just a spiral of chaos. It would have been very upsetting. So I had to just look out into the world. I saw rabbits running around. It was weird. It was like too much wildlife, just free. And she thought I was panicking. So she starts saying, like, okay, what do you see? Like, I see the sage and I see this. And I was like, you don't have to define everything. Just fucking be here and be happy. And then last night I listened to this meditation from Alan Watts where he talked about like letting go. So we have these thoughts and very busy minds, and we're always trying to put a name to it. There's words constantly passing through our minds. So he said, stop defining it. Stop defining life, like, so you can just be present and be happy. So weirdly, at that time, I didn't realize how profound that message was, because like I was thinking, what I wanted in life, what I was journaling about, or not journaling about, what I have always been journaling about with you, but my manifestation journal was I am in the perfect relationship. I wrote it 3 times, 6 times, 9 times. I have to write it again. I forgot. I haven't been home, so I have sporadically. I moved on from that, and I'm trying to manifest more money now. And so now my journal is about making more money. I have a target that I want to hit per month, but from my understanding, what you manifest is things, stat, either like a social status or a certain result, tangible thing that you can visualize. So uh, I always had the dream of having one of these old Porsche Speedsters, the 356 Speedsters. It's just old soul. I always, even when I was little, I was like, that's cool. And they usually make them out of Volkswagen Bugs, like a '60s Bug. And interestingly, this year my dad saw one. He had a couple of them when he was growing up, Bugs, not Speedsters. And he saw one when he was walking around in San Diego and just bought it. It's the fucking hardest thing in the world to drive. It's like 4 speeds. It maybe goes 40 miles an hour. Like you could be flooring it. It ain't fucking. I don't know how the guy drove it up from San Diego, but it just is parked at my dad's office. It has white wall tires. It's like it's cool. But you're like, what are you going to use it for? It's like having a golf cart. Like you can putt around town, but you ain't going on the freeway. So those Volkswagen Bug ones that they just take the shell of the Beetle off and they put a new shell of the Speedster. It's like I guess it's the same chassis or similar, and then it's the same size, and then it has drum brakes and it has a carbureted bullshit motor. So it's a pain in the dick, kind of, to have one of those. It's like old tech, hard to drive, like the pedals that go into the floor rather than up. That's how things used to be until I think the 80s. So anything before that, no thank you. I've tried to drive. I had a '79 Porsche 911 SC. I had it for. I never drove it on the street. It was dropped up at my house. I turned it on, drove it around my block, and then I sold it. I was like, "Fuck this!" Like it's cool inside, it's cool outside. It was wide body and stuff. Like had 13-inch tires on it, but it was too hard, uncomfortable. I don't want to have to learn how to do something again. It's like it was uncomfortable. Looked crazy on the outside though. It was a really cool looking car. I believe if I held on to it, it would have been worth a lot more. But here we are. Um, so I looked into the speedsters, and then I found someone that makes them out of like modern components. So modern suspension and a modern fuel injected motor and brakes, for fuck's sake, brakes. So it's like, you know, these tiny bathtubs on the road is a death trap. At least with some power, you can get the fuck out of the way if you need to. So I saw one online, and I have, a couple of very expensive things coming up. Moving to a house and buying a $500,000 Ferrari for a business in a down economy. This has been my best year ever financially. From my understanding, my competition is suffering. I don't feel it, and I don't. I imagine if the economy takes off again, I should do really well. But as it stands, if I didn't watch the news, I wouldn't know people are struggling. And this is testing manifestation, right? So I want to manifest certain things. So was it a smart idea to buy a car before I have to buy a car and buy a house? No. But my most recent journal entry is about making a certain amount of money, and if I make that certain amount of money, then there's no problem here. And historically speaking, I put myself in a shitty financial position, and then I find my way out of it. That's how I got where I am, frankly. It's just forcing myself into making it happen. And somehow I think that's how the universe works. Is like as your needs grow, it will match you. If you don't take any risks, of course you can calculate risks. Like I know people gamble on the stock market and shit like this, and I consider that gambling. Frankly, it's fixed as fuck. So are the coins, and so all that shit is fixed. Um, but I believe that, like as a creator being, I can manifest whatever the fuck I want. I can just sit here and meditate about it, meditate before I go to bed, and then make it happen. It's happened. So why the fuck? Why not? So why not try? It's better to go down swinging two swords than two shields. And people are asking me, which car are you selling? I'm like, I'm not selling shit. I'm a car guy. I should be a car collector. I've wanted to be a car collector my whole life. Why the fuck am I not doing it? I've had the opportunity, and then I got lost for a while. I'm like, I want to open an orphanage, and I wasted. I didn't waste it, but looking for some purpose in life. It's like, okay, I did that. I did something selfless, and I honestly didn't feel as good as I thought it would. I kind of regret it, in fact, because I think charity should be done with your hands. And on that subject, not necessarily charity, but good deeds. So, with I bought the car. I bought a like baby blue speedster replica, and I pick it up tomorrow. And yeah, I figured if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. And it's only cool if you do it when you're young. It's like, hey, look, I'm old. Hey, look, because when I'm 60, it's not cool. It's like, look at that old guy driving that old car. It's like, this guy's cool. I have that guy's different. I'm not doing it for other people, but still, I want driving gloves. I want goggles. I'm gonna put a dog next to me and put the goggles on him, and that'll be really cool. Um, I want to listen to oldies in that thing only. I was gonna sing Uptown Girl, but that's from the '80s. That's considered oldies now. I mean, like '50s doo-wop type shit. Come go with me way beyond the sea. Um, I like that. I grew up. I was as a kid. I was listening to oldies. I was like a 6-year-old listening to like K Earth 101, listening to fucking Sam Cooke and the Temptations and shit like this. So it's in me. And I feel like that car is more me than anything else. Definitely the new Ferrari, purple on white, is very flashy. It's not really my. This isn't a me thing, but for marketing, that thing makes sense. Um, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to the payment. I'm not looking forward to whatever the fuck price tag they give me. But if it brings me money, fucking whatever. That's the future of my business. But my thought was, why am I not as happy as I can be every day? What makes me happy today? And why is happiness come? Why does happiness come later? I don't want to fix up this place because I'm moving. Why didn't I just, make it feel like home because I'm here? I complain that it feels like a fucking Swedish prison. Um, so on that subject, when I told my friend like, why do you have to define everything? Just fucking be here and enjoy it. So the reason I haven't journaled is I've been hanging out with somebody a lot, and that somebody made it very clear that she never wants a relationship with me. It's like, okay, thank you, I get it. You don't have to keep saying that. Okay, I heard you the first time. But without the threat of a relationship, this is the best period of time that I've known her. And this non relationship is a better relationship than I've ever had. So she's had to do stuff at her house. Like she had to change things around, whatever. And I just around to help, around to. She was alone and needed company, maybe, I don't know. But it was nice to be, like, rather than having a title of the relationship so that I know and you know we belong together and you're trapped here and shit like this, without the expectation, without the forcing that part of it, she's far more like it's just the good parts of her without the negative. Now I'm not getting blamed for everything. And I would think like it's very interesting that in was it a year ago? Maybe 2 years ago. 2 years ago in the summer, I think, uh, a friend of mine said, "Why don't we like have sex and hang out until you find your wife?" And I said, "I don't want to do that. That sounds terrible. What am I supposed to tell my wife then?" And I felt like used, and I was like, this is I was very mean to her. I basically said, "You're an escort." That was rude, and I shouldn't have done that. But she's a complicated person. I'm sure she has her reasons for living her life how she wants. It wasn't my place to shit on her. So, but I'm almost in almost in the exact same situation. So I have these two conflicting thoughts. Is one is if you hold on to who's leaving, you won't make room for who's coming. So the logical side of my brain is like, get rid of this because you can't do anything here. Like, what is you're blocking the energetically, you're blocking someone from coming in, but also like, I'm not a social person. I'm not fucking meeting anybody. So what the fuck? And then every synchronicity has pointed me to this person. Now, pointing me to a person doesn't mean pointing me to a relationship. just pointing me to a person for one reason or another, being in her energy field. And I don't feel energy depleted. I don't feel like there's anything negative happening. I actually feel loved, weirdly. And it's easily the best part of me knowing her. I suppose, like, what I expected in a relationship, I didn't get. And she was always running and pulling away, and it felt really forced and awful. And now, like, that resistance is gone, and we're just like friends and friendly and like loving towards each other. So the way I saw it is, every time I saw synchronicity, like I'd think like, okay, I have to cut this off. If I hold on to who's leaving, I don't make room for who's coming. So I thought to myself that it's not healthy and I shouldn't be doing this, and my ego was talking. But spiritually speaking, I felt drawn to this person. That's how I always felt drawn to this person. Um, and I definitely hear what she says when she says 100% never, never again, never, never, never. I was like, okay, I heard you. Thank you. So I don't need a relationship from you. I suppose I don't need anything from anybody, but the way I see it is this girl and her family, she lost her dad when she was young. And every male figure has come in and out of her life and seemed to be out for money or financial gain and, you know, stuff like that. So there hasn't been like a strong male influence. So I was talking to my friend about like mentorship and like, what am I supposed to do in the world? What's the big thing? Where am I supposed to go? Where am I supposed to put my name on this building? I did it. And I don't think it's that. I don't think I'm supposed to do that. I think I'm supposed to go where I'm guided to go. And I have no question in everything that I see that I've been guided here. So I think as a friend, I can be a good influence in this person's life. I think she takes my advice as a friend. As a boyfriend, she takes it as an attack. I think that specifically now there's a dynamic in the family that's changing that also makes me feel like, oh, this might I might be called here. This might be a calling, and maybe that's what I was guided to. Maybe like after this season or whatever, then my calling will be somewhere else. I don't know, but I told her as much. I was like, it makes sense to me. Like, I was hanging out with her at her house, and she was saying like her dog has never been this calm, and this little guy is in love with me. Like, he just lays his head on me and stares at me. Um, and it's a different dog than when she brought him here once. I was like, fuck this guy. He peed on my car. He went upstairs, peed on my carpet, chewed up my blanket. I was like, control your fucking kid. What's wrong with you? This is how you like. Imagine your kids go to someone's house and does that. It's like she's like, oh, I'll buy you a new one. You didn't buy me a new one. You didn't sew the holes. So I was like, this will never work. Fuck you and your dog. Fuck everybody who's ever met you. Goodbye. But my, you know, Rumi said, we do not seek for love. We just seek out all the barriers we've built against it. So me changing my views, you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I changed the way I look at her, I changed the way that I look at the dog, I changed the way I look at the situation. And everything's like in my journal. I am in the perfect relationship. I outlined the qualities that I want in a partner, and weirdly, without being in a relationship, it's looks a lot like it. Um, I don't feel any type of restriction or, like I felt like I had to tiptoe around, walk on eggshells, which I hung out with my cousin last night and her friends, and she was talking about when she met my ex. She's like, it seemed like she was very closed off and very upset. Like you had to walk on eggshells. I was like, I know, I know. It's like being at home with my mom. I found mom again, so um, I don't want to be like a. I don't play the game of telling you, oh, this is what's gonna happen. This is what's gonna happen. Um, but also like I know even if down this path is more pain, I know that pain is meant for my benefit, as all the pain that has come before has been. So obviously, if someone comes into my life and checks every box, and I mean, there's why wouldn't I consider that? I'm not closed off, especially why this person says 100% never. But rather than try to define something, what makes me happy today? Why am I not happy today? As happy as I can be. I suppose that's my advice to everybody. Is like what makes me happy is when I get in a car and I feel like it's a cool car. Now I'll have three manual cars, one automatic, and the automatic one is the one I'm going to get rid of eventually to get the other car. And none of them are practical. I don't give a fuck about practicality. I want to. I'm like living in a video game. Every day I'm driving something. Someone's like, "Whoa, cool." Went to visit my sister in my daily driver. It's a Porsche Macan, and I lowered it and I did all this cool shit to it. It's a cool color. And the security guard is talking to me like for too long. It's like, just open the gate, man. It's like, thank you. It is cool. I did it for you. Open the gate so I can go see my family. But he talked to me for a while, like, wow, even the brakes matched the. I was like, yeah, I like appreciated that he appreciated it. Um, yeah, I do it for myself because it's one of the things that I enjoy is cars. I want to look at it and be like, that's fucking cool. I've let people drive it before when I'm in a different car, and when I see it drive by, I'm like, that's fucking cool. I don't know why more people aren't freaking out. You don't see this every day. And that's, yeah, without spending a lot of money, you can get something that is unique and has personality and has character. And all these, I talk about the douchey rich people that it's just like, this is very expensive. Look how expensive. It's like, okay. I get it. It's expensive. I like old stuff. I like how things used to be. I don't like the direction. I don't want touch screens everywhere. Give me knobs and buttons. I want to fucking pull things and change things and whatever. I want to feel engaged. Rowing gears. It doesn't feel like a chore to me. I don't want people always like, oh, you can. What about in traffic? It's like, I've never noticed. You're fucking lazy. Um, Plus, my calves need a workout. You'd think my left calf would be huge. No, it ain't. Um, so, in order to be happy, what I'm saying is letting go of defining things. It has to be this way or I won't be happy. It's like, fuck you, you won't be happy then. Funny thing I was saying to my friend when we were walking, I was like, I get it, I'm God, but why did I make this and forget? Why did I make it like this? Why does it look like this? It's like, yeah, fucking just to do it. I did it just to do it, just so you can look at it and be like, wow, that's cool. And then you move on. It's like, why are there planets there? Just be like, oh, fuck, that's cool. Oh, cool. You just discover shit all the time. Why are we just sitting and watching TV? Oh, wow. That character's gay too, huh? Wow. Oh, the orcs are the good guys. Get it. So much to just observe in the world and learn and fuck. I mean, that too, but it's a big world. It's a big universe. There's so much to discover, so much to learn. And I suppose the more I learn about myself and my inner universe, the more I learn about the outside universe. So what I realized, I suppose, in my former relationship is if I am God, as these books say, not if I can, it's the only thing that makes sense. God, for God, he's God. And then for the joy of figuring it out the hard way. Imagine how fun that is to start from scratch and gain godhood. So, like the news articles are talking about, I just saw something that's like Volkswagen is firing people and they're not selling cars or whatever. It's like, fuck you. You're lying. Man, you lying. You ain't never met no Martin Luther King. It's a Coming to America reference. Great movie. Before Eddie Murphy sold his soul. Fuck you, Eddie. So, yeah, I realized that my negative expectations of my ex she could feel my energy. And I could feel hers. So when hers shifts, I'd feel it. When mine shifts, she'd feel it. Like she's my fucking spirit animal. She was like immediately react. I noticed in the car one time I started thinking about something upsetting, and I looked at her. I was like, "Can she fucking hear me?" Like I saw her face change too. Like, oh fuck. And maybe that's happening all the time. So I started at one point in my life when things got pretty bad. I started to act as if everyone can hear my voice in my inner monologue. So because the people I hung out with and the traits and the habits I picked up, I'd see a fat person, I'd react. I'd be like, ew, why would you? Just stop eating for like 3 months, and then you can start again. You've done enough. And now, like, I saw a huge guy at the gym, and I was like, oh, good for you, man. He's here again. I've seen him for like 3 months, and there's no improvement. But God bless him, he's still trying. Maybe I should talk to him. Hey, you're doing that wrong. But the shift in perspective. So now, on that subject, I know someone who's on the cusp of divorce. And today I was reading emails from my family where the divorce between my parents started, basically. And there was a threat of divorce since I can remember. Every fight was, I'm getting divorced. So as a child, I obviously was in fight or flight. I didn't know if I'd have a family or a house or whatever. I think I talked in the last one or the one before about how after being abused, I went to school and called child services on my dad. And then I thought legitimately it was going to be taken away from my house. And by that time, I thought that was the best solution. I didn't feel loved, so I wanted to go somewhere where people would love me. Maybe someone would have fucked me. You know? That's love, isn't it? Imagine how different things would have been. Maybe they'll be the exact same. Anyways, you never know, do you? So, growing up, my parents are opposites and Democrat, Muslim, prays 5 times a day, atheist, Republican, like hates Islam specifically. They are polar opposites. But now with perspective, I see that they were the perfect couple for each other. That they needed each other. They balanced each other out. Like in this universe, there are no accidents. The problem wasn't their incompatibility. Their problem was adaptability. I think one party more than the other. But I watched how someone can be given so much and believe they don't have enough. Someone could be given love and believe and not feel it, and then engineer their life in a way to validate the feeling. The outside world follows the feeling. Feeling comes first. You don't love me, or you're cheating on me, or you're whatever the fuck, and then everything you see, you're God, right? Everything you see, you believe it, so that's real. That's the truth. No one can convince you otherwise. No amount of proof will convince you otherwise. Let me see if I missed something. I'll call you back. So, in that spirit, I know someone's going through something similar, and then, you know, I have so much advice, relationship advice. I have so much self-help advice, but it's so much that I don't know where to start. It's like a hard thing to like, you know what I mean? But I think the main thing is no matter where you go, there you are. You'll have the same problems in this relationship as the next one because in reality, it's you. Even if the other person sucks, it's still you. You picked that person, right? So you'll do the same thing while you're unconscious and until you learn the lesson. And I think the change in perspective and the change inside of your beliefs will change the outside world. That's what the books say. It's not me, it's also The Secret. I tried to watch the documentary about the book or whatever. It was fucking boring, but I said, yeah, I get it. Fuck you. So feeling is the secret, right? So you feel it. So I talked about how like I saw synchronicities and I felt like I was going to see my ex and then I saw her. Feeling, I felt it. So perhaps I felt it, so I made it happen rather than I predicted it. It's an interesting concept. It's interesting I'm learning. So I'm doubling down and I'm diving into the deep end. I'm taking financial risks that no sane person would make, but this is who I am. And I'm in a situation I also never thought I'd be in, but without, yeah, without like being programmed to think it should be this way, it should look this way. Taking that programming out and just be like, what makes me happy today? Because when you're happy, you're obviously going to manifest stuff. It'll be much easier. And I'm just getting rid of barriers I had to love. So if my ex is just my friend, she's a great friend. She was a shitty partner. Probably a shit partner, mate. Uh, but great as a friend. She made me food. Um, yeah, like I said, like that's fine. And then obviously, if things change for her or change for me in the future, like it's understandable, and there's no reason to hate anybody or be resentful or whatever. Like I don't know what's coming down the pipeline, but what makes me happy today, having her in my life makes me happy because you know I had a lot of fake people around me. And although this person is complex and has a lot of mysteries to herself, she's real. I feel like I'm talking to a real person. I feel like I'm talking to a different version of me. So, like, we make each other laugh and we're supportive of each other, and it's a great friendship. And, like, I was bidding on the car with her. Like, we we were together, and I was trying to do it secretly and surprise her, but I was having an anxiety attack, thinking I had to outbid some fucking Persian doctor. Azimi doc. Fuck you, dude. Made me overpay. Um, but that's the car I wanted. I envisioned driving down PCH with her. She's like, I sent her a picture of one of these replicas when we were dating. I was like, I've always wanted one, and she's like, oh, it's perfect. And yeah, just if I was going to buy one, I actually called the place that makes them the way I want. And I was like, all right, what's the time? Like, how much money? And then I heard there's a lot of delays and a lot of bullshit with it. So I didn't go through with it. And then I thought the price wasn't worth it at the time. And now I just see that, like, it's something cool to have. Something cool to have that I can play with, that I can feel something new, something different. I've never had a convertible because I'm not gay. It's at the end of summer, but still, California, you should be able to drive with the top down once or twice. So I guess the update is be happy today. Tomorrow is tomorrow. If you're worried about tomorrow, like, of course I want to um, be respectful of my future partner and stuff like this, but it's like there are people in my life now that I need to love properly. And I believe that everything happens for a reason, and there's divine timing at work, and whatever's coming down the pipe, I feel like I'm on the right path. So, just another thing that I wanted to mention is when I was at church with my spiritual friend, our own church, she was talking about a Persian singer who had a concert coming up. And then when I was like, let's just get tickets. Let's do it right now. I do too many random things, to be fair. Someone needs to reel me in. So I bought 4 tickets, and it's like in the front section. I would have got front row because that's how we want to do things. But then the order confirmation number was 666. And I was like, fuck you. Oh, okay, maybe concerts are bad. Oh, yeah, I remember that. But also, I think that it's not necessarily like some satanic thing where my energy is going to be depleted. It could just be I'm supposed to be somewhere else that day, or that's not conducive to my highest good or highest timeline. So I talked to my cousin last night. I was like, oh, I have tickets to this thing. I've tried to sell them. They're not selling. Do you want to go? And her and her friends were like, yeah, if you go with us. And then today, when she talked about it, she's like, yeah, let's go. I was like, well, I was thinking about it. I was like, maybe I should. And then I saw another sign, synchronicity, that confirmed that I shouldn't. So I'll just transfer her the tickets. She can go and have fun, and whatever I'm supposed to do that day, I imagine, is part of my journey, even if it's do nothing, frankly. So you can't trust the signs sometimes. It's either you follow it, or you're following the path, or you're not. And I second guessed signs and synchronicities enough to know in my reality, they don't lie. I might get them wrong sometimes, but they don't lie. So whether I'm manifesting those numbers and those sequences and those, like the fucking beetle or whatever, or it's just there's some kind of order to it. So I want to see where it takes me. More fun to me than most things you could do. I'm going to play this game of life the way I want to. You can do it the way you want to, and I guess let's see what happens. I'm forcing myself into a situation where it's sink or swim. There's no pressure on me. I have a great life. It's very easy right now. But if you're not growing, you're shrinking, right? So even though this is my best year so far, um, I said it since the beginning of the year. I want to double my income. There's a lot I want to do in this world, and I want to be free to do it. I want to be free to live how I want. So I want to be one of those people that like tips people $100 randomly. I just want just to bless everybody, you know what I mean? And it's not to augment myself, it's just to make people happy. I know I'm not supposed to talk about my good deeds, but yeah, I won't because I think part of the reason I do well is because I do things and I don't talk about it. If I talk about it, it negates the good, and it's not that the money's that important to me, but I already learned if it's a bad thing, it's a bad thing. So I learn slowly, but I learn. So I had I had an excellent fucking week. I had an amazing time hanging out with someone I care about, like more than most people who have ever lived. Who's like, I wish, I know that the way things are, like I can't share her. I can't show her off to my friends and family and be like, look how cool this thing is. Look what I found. Talk more. Say something funny. Do you guys see? I want to share her, but um, she's not mine to share. I suppose she belongs to the world. She belongs to the streets, really, fucking whore. I'm just kidding. I think she'd appreciate that or get very mad. In either case, I made myself laugh, so I won. Um, yeah. So whatever happens, happens. Um, but I feel like why not now? Why not be happy now? Why resist happiness? Tomorrow's a new day, and I'll worry about being happy tomorrow, and I will do the things that make me happy tomorrow as well. I've rambled enough. Um, I gotta go to the bank in the morning and buy this very cheap car and drive it home. The guy was like, it hasn't been driven on the freeway in 5 years. I don't want you to get stuck. I'm like, is there something you're not telling me? Luckily, it's a Subaru motor, so even if it was blown, like it's $800, I can fucking build another one from Legos or whatever. But why? I'm just thinking he's a boomer and he doesn't know anything. He said it handles like a race car. I'm sure that's not true either. I guess I'll find out tomorrow. I'm diving into the deep end. If I die on the freeway, um, this will be the last thing you see, and I've lived an amazing life, and I'm ready for the next thing. Tell everybody I know, fuck you. It's like I hated you the whole time. I actually believe if I died in this reality that I finished something. That's not a bad thing. I'm not like eager to go or anything, but I've learned more than most people. I feel like I can say that confidently without being cocky. More about life, more about myself, more about the universe I live in and the secret aspects to it. I'm just barely scratching the surface, so I don't think I'm going anytime soon, but what a life I've lived. There's stuff I can't even tell you about. You wouldn't understand. Um, okay, rambling over. In all sincerity, love you very much. If you bother watching these in 100 years from now, Can't imagine why you would do that. How cool is life now? Do the things that I say help you or hurt you? Comment below, subscribe, hit the like button.